Linda Gray joining us right here. Don't move an inch. Coming up right now on the Jim Masters Show. Welcome to the show, my friend. It's an honor and a pleasure to have you with us.
Thank you so much, Jim. I appreciate it. Happy to be here.
You are very, very welcome. And, you are beloved, you are revered, you've been awarded an accolade. But, what's really amazing and that I love about you is you've never done any of the work for any of that. That's the icing on the cake. You've just always really been passionate about what you do. Where does that passion, that resilience, and that determination come from within you? Was it instilled in you early growing up, Linda, or is it something that developed over the years? Because you are a survivor. You are somebody who is very much an inspiration and an empowerment to others in and out of Hollywood. So where does that come from for you?
It's a great question. And really, I don't know how to answer it. I just remember early on, I kind of was like not ordinary. I say that, I still am not ordinary. And I didn't quite know what ordinary was. But I remember clearly, I was in an all-girls Catholic school. And we were doing a play. And I remember clearly that I wanted to be in the play. And but I wanted to make her a little bit different. And so I did. And I don't know that the nuns were very appreciative of the way I did something. And it was fine. I just was like on my own road to happiness. And so I did, and I just kept doing it. And I remember in high school, early on, there was a man who he was a scout. I don't know what he was scouting, but he was a scout for someplace. And he came, and I was in the audience with my mother. We were watching the fashion show. And he said to my mother later on, he said, I would like to talk to you about your daughter modeling. And that was like, ooh, let's be careful about this. Who is this guy and what does he want? What's this modeling stuff? And my mom was very skeptical, and rightfully so. Because here's an all-girls Catholic school, little uniforms, and awfully cute. And he was trying to find people to model for his modeling agency. And that was a red flag, thank God, for my mother. It was like, oh, no, we need her education, and on and on. Anyway, long story short, I ended up going with my mother to his office. And so he said, well, I can get you into commercials and this and that. Still skeptical, all of us. And so he said, well, let me try something. So he put me in some little commercial. And I was happy to do it. I liked it, and it was fun. And I was trying to pacify my mother, like, it's okay. He's not a bad guy. Anyway, that kind of started everything. And so I just kind of went along with him. And they kept putting me in commercials, and we got a commercial agent. And that was okay with my parents. It was like, you can do commercials, but don't get it in your head you're going to go and do anything else. Right, so exactly. It was like, okay, but so I had to figure out a way to do what I wanted to do in a very conservative way and not upset the parents, but still do what I wanted to do. And so it was a kind of challenge, and I liked it. And
I was going to say, yeah, when you started out in the commercials, did the bug bite you? Did you get a taste for it and say, I kind of like this. I'd like to do a little more?
I did. I liked it. And, I went to Hawaii and did some kind of a commercial over there, and United Airlines, I think it was. And, and I just kept doing it. It was fun, and I was making a little money. And my dad was skeptical, like, what are you doing? And what are we doing with this money? And, so I was very well protected by my dad.
Which is fantastic to have that love and that support. In your beautiful, beautiful memoir, you talk about, and of course, the road to happiness is always under construction. That is such a fantastic title. I love that.
I'm glad you like it. Thank you.
Yeah. Did it take you a while to come up with the title? How did you come up with the title? Because that applies not only to your life, But that title applies to all of our lives. It's so true. The road to happiness is not something you can just buy. You can't just happen like that. It's always under construction. And I think
Exactly.
it's a wonderful book for people to have to learn about your life and your story, but also they can get nuggets about their own lives through the telling of yours, which I think is beautiful. What inspired you to write the book, and how'd you come up with that amazing title, Linda?
Well, I didn't want to write a book. I was busy. I was doing
You're busy. Yeah.
I don't have time to write a book. And so, anyway, it was right when the series was coming to an end, and they had asked me to write the book because I thought I have no time to write a book, and so there was this hiatus, and I thought, well, okay, if I have to write a book, bah humbug, I'll write a book, but it had to slot into this limited amount of time. And then they gave me a deadline. I thought, a deadline? Oh my God, I haven't even begun. What the hell, a deadline? Anyway, so they were great to work with. And they kind of walked me through the process of writing your first book. And I wasn't a writer, I was an actor. And so I thought, why did they ask me? And they said, well, because in September you're turning 75. And I was shocked. I thought, I am? I was like it sounded really not very smart. And
Like,
it's
how'd
like,
that happen? That was in a New York Minute, right?
yeah, like, wait a minute, when am I turning 75?
Yeah.
September,
News to me.
birthday. Like, what? So, I mean, the whole thing started out very funny because I thought that was hysterical. What do you mean I'm 75 and I have to write a book? It's insane. So anyway, I was
That could have been the title too, right? What do you
yeah,
mean I'm 75 and I got to write a book?
that would have been maybe a better title. I don't know. I'll call you next time.
Yes. That's
Anyway,
right.
that's how it started. And I thought, ooh, I better get down to writing. But I wasn't a great typist at all. And I thought, okay, so I went and bought yellow legal tablets, if
Yeah.
anybody can remember these. And so I started writing. And I thought, this is pretty funny. I'm writing a book on yellow legal tablets by hand. And I thought, well, why not? People have done it before. So, I'm kind of the outlier here anyway. So why not? So I started writing, and things would pop into my head that I had really totally forgotten about. And I thought, okay, I'll just write it down.
Did you
And
keep journals along the way throughout your life and career that you were able to pull from, or was it all just digging it up from memory?
a lot of it was memory. That sounds really weird, but a lot of things, that they would pop up, but I would then remember it and expand it and do that. So it was. I mean, nobody would follow my direction on writing a book. Nobody, because it would never it would never happen. Like what have I done? Anyway, so I could go on about this thing, but anyway, I kept writing and writing and adding nuggets of what I thought were fun and special. And I wanted it not only to make me think of my life, but to expand to enhance other people's lives. Like maybe you've been through it before, something like similar to this. And I thought that would help people. So I was kind of in the help people process. And not just me, but I wanted to get it out to think, well, maybe somebody else experienced the same thing as I did. And so I got an agent, a book agent. That's new. How do you get a book agent? And then we started on the cover, what I was going to call it, the title of a book. And so she kept throwing out. She's a wonderful, wonderful agent. She kept throwing out titles, and I did not like them. And I thought, oh boy, this is not going well. And I kept writing, writing, writing. And then they said to me, well, we want you to come to London and do Cinderella. You're going to play the fairy godmother in Cinderella. And I took a deep breath. I thought, wait a minute, I'm this one person. How am I going to go to London, memorize the lines for Cinderella, be fairy godmother, write a book, send it to New York, get comments on it, and how's that going to happen? I'm one cute little girl. What am I going to do? And I thought, well, why not? You hurdled other things. Conquered these other things. Just another hurdle for me, another little thing I had to jump over. So I thought, okay, let's do it. So it was hysterical because I was living in London and the show was on hold. Dallas was on hold until they decided if they were going to pick it up or not. And so I thought, oh, I have time. I can write a book, like it was going to be easy. Wrong. I was definitely wrong. You don't just say, okay, great, I'll finish it by September. I was in London in a play doing theater, which I was not great at that time. And I thought, okay, you just big girl now, you just stand up and you get that book done. So that's what I did. And I would come home from the theater very late at night, go into my yellow legal tablet area and continue to write, send it to New York from London, and have them correct it and then get back to me the next day. And it was a whirlwind. And I remember just sitting there going, okay, this is a new chapter in my life. Talk about a chapter. It was a big one.
Right.
So that's what happened. That's how I got that book done. And then she kept coming. Her name is Judith. Oh God, I can't remember her name. That's not good. I'll get it. Anyway, she kept saying, you got to get the book done by September. And that was in the back of my mind. And I thought, we don't have a title. We don't have anything. We have nothing. And I'm still writing. And so this was a little challenging for me. And we finally got it done. She came up with the title. Then she called me, and I was doing, I had flown back to LA, and I was invited to do a film in maybe Portland, Oregon, I think. So I was now in Portland, Oregon, and she said, I have an idea for the title. And I thought, thank God, maybe this book will come out. Anyway, the title was, she borrowed it from Lily Tomlin. And it's in the first page. I don't have it with me, but it's in the very first cover pages of the book. And it was taken from Lily, who said, the key to happiness is under construction. But she just twisted it, the publisher, twisted it a little bit. But we gave Lily credit because it was something that Lily Tomlin had said in a beautiful way, and we borrowed it. And that's how the title came out. And I love the title.
It's absolutely perfect. And again, it applies to all of our lives.
Yes, I think so.
It's fantastic, I tell you. Which really amazing, which would surprise people too. And you mentioned it in that fantastic book. When you were around 20 years old, a magazine editor actually coldly rejected you as a model, writing that perhaps one day you might shape into something.
I know.
If they could see me now, da da da. Wow.
That was kind of a shock for me. I was like, okay, it's her opinion. We don't like her opinion, but we're going to keep going forward. That's the story of my life. The under construction. My life's always been under construction in some form or another, and it hasn't served me badly. It served me very well, actually. So I just kept going. It's like, okay, somebody said this, and that's the way they feel. And next, that was my quote. Next, what else has somebody else have to say?
Did you ever hear from her again? Was there ever I got that wrong?
No, I didn't. And it didn't matter. It was like, what, I could have grudges or something, or go beat her up or something. It's like, what am I going to do? That's her opinion. And that's what I've done in my life. Just pass it on, let it go. Let her opinion be what it is. Who cares? So that was it.
In looking at your incredible career, there are so many things that you've done and have been a part of, and it's really, really incredible. I was looking back. I mean, we could do a whole mini series just on the extraordinary shows, and of course Marcus Welby, and I mentioned also Switch too, and I think
I don't know
McLeod.
where you found that. That's
Right. Switch.
yeah.
What was it like being in Switch and with God, Robert Wagner and company?
I'll tell you a funny scene that I've never told anybody. Honestly, yeah, that sounds like it. No, it's true. I remember working with R.J. Wagner. I love him, but we were ready to do this scene, and we were in bed, but hadn't gotten into bed yet, and I had like a nightgown and a peignoir thing, a lot of clothes on, nightgown clothes, and I remember so clearly that his wife, Natalie Wood, walked into the studio and sat down in a director's chair, carrying two little dogs, her little dogs, little ones. And she sat down and crossed her legs, looking stunningly beautiful, of course. And she just looked at us. In other words, you are going to be in the bed with my husband doing a scene. So make it good because I'm watching. And I thought, oh, no pressure here. None. No, it's not at all.
That's it.
It's
And
like Natalie Wood sitting right there with the dog.
watching you in the bed scene with Robert Wagner on Switch.
Yeah, that
Talk
was it.
talk about a switch, huh?
I was terrified. I thought, oh my
Okay.
God, of all times. Could she just go out for coffee or take the dogs for a walk, do something? Go.
Yeah, there's lots of great food over at Craft Services.
Okay, as we know.
Have a bagel or something, exactly. But
That was a
working
great
on that was right.
Not a great moment.
Yes, one of many that you just chalk up and you go along and you did your thing, which is fantastic. But it was great to be a part of that, right? Working with
Oh,
Robert
it was
and
wonderful.
everybody.
I loved all of them. And, I've been so blessed because for me, there's a great amount of love that you get from the crew. And everybody's respectful and loving and charming. And there's this support system that I've had. And that's why I'm blessed because I've had in every single thing that I've done. And that's a huge part. They just kind of hold you up gently. It's like, okay. In other words, nobody said anything about Natalie Wood being there, but you could tell that there were some people going, oh my God, what's going to happen? And nothing happened. But I felt innately and intuitively that they were there to support me. And it was so sweet. And I've had that throughout my career.
Did they chuckle about it after?
They probably did.
Yeah,
And
together at dinner or something.
it didn't bother me. It did certainly during the scene, but you're an actor. You just keep going. That's the way we do.
Absolutely. That's
Yeah.
exactly right. That's what it is. It's that stamina. You going back in time again, if you look at the decades of incredible entertainment that you have brought us and continue to bring us, Linda,
Thank you.
all the way back to 1963, even working with the incomparable Jack Lemmon under the Yum Yum tree.
Oh, you're going way back. Good for you. Wow.
Right. Isn't that cool? Jack Lemmon, one of my favorite all-time male actors, just capturing that everyman and the struggles of the everyman. But being a part of that back in 63, a lot of hilarity and craziness and fun. What was it like working with Jack Lemmon and everybody on that?
Well, it was, I was in awe. I was very young, and I think I was playing a college girl with a lot of other girls in the bus or something. And it was just, I was in awe. I was like, oh my God, look who's here. And look at Jack Lemmon. I had a crush on all these young, gorgeous guys, and it was absolutely fun. And I remember my lines, and that was always a good thing. That's always one of the best things you can do. And I just remember being in awe going, wow, I'm making inroads in my career when I get to work with these special people. And that's how I feel. I still feel the same.
Another group of incredible people when you had an opportunity to work with Norman Lear, one of
Oh,
the iconic producers of all time, and
yes.
All That Glitters. That
Yeah,
goes back to 1977.
yeah,
And it was All That Glitters. That was during that time when it was All That Glitters, Mary Hartman, Fernwood Tonight, all of those shows coming out.
yeah.
And look at the amazing cast of people you were with. You're right there, front and center. How did Norman Lear come into your life and All That Glitters? You were terrific in that as well.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Um, well, I went on an interview, as we do. We don't know whether we're going to get it or not, and what was this role. And I loved Norman Lear, so I thought, okay, of course I'll go. So I went in for to the audition, and I remember saying to Norman, uh, whom I had great respect for, that why did you cast me? This is right after I got cast, actually. And I said, why did you cast me in this role as a transsexual? And he said, because you're attractive. And I was like, wait, that doesn't make much sense. I need more information. What do you mean I'm attractive? And he said, well, when you go from the male to a female, he said, you want to look attractive. You don't want to look like the male version of you. You want to look different. You want to look feminine. And I still was kind of like, how do I play this person? And it was 1977, if people will remember, that wasn't big mainstream news. Nobody talked about it. So I was getting ready to play a character that I didn't know how to play. So I said to Norman, please do me a favor, since you cast me in this feminine role. Please, I want to meet someone who is a transsexual, who has made the change from a male to a female. And so he said, okay. So bless him, he flew a person down from San Francisco and put us in a room. And both she and I had a list of questions. Like, I wanted to know how I'm going to play her, and I needed to know, technical things and physical things. How did this happen, and how was the transition, and all those things. So we stayed the whole day together in this little room and asked many questions. And so she, it was a little tricky. So she wanted to show me all the scars, and I said, no, don't need the scars. I said, but I do need to know, like, what happened? How did you change? How did this begin? And she said, well, when I was a little boy, she said, I wanted to be a girl. And she said, and that's what she kept doing. She wanted to dress up in the mother's clothes and the shoes and all that stuff. So then she said, as she went on with her story, I said, what was the hardest thing that you did outside of psychologically? What did you do? And she said, well, the hardest thing, oddly enough, wasn't what I expected. It was her beard. She said to have this beard taken off one hair at a time, like electrolysis, she said was so painful. And I thought, oh my God, I didn't think of that. The beard, that was the last thing on my mind. But anyway, she went through everything she had to do. That. Then she said psychologically, the tough problem was her going into the ladies' room, because she said she still looked like a man, and she was going in the ladies' room, and she was kicked out several times. And, that was a hard transition for her, obviously. You can think how that would happen to anybody going in the wrong restroom. They get, please leave, and, you're in the wrong room, or whatever they say. Anyway, that was very, very hard, and you can imagine how hard that would be. So, the questions went on, and I got deeper and deeper into her life and how the transition from she felt she was not in the right body. And I thought that was quite interesting to know that you're not in the right body. It's like, what do you do? So she was lovely. We got along great. She came on the set and watched us rehearse and shoot the scenes where I was playing her. And for me, it was life changing because I had much more compassion, much more understanding of somebody that I did not know. I didn't know how they got through life, and if they ever had relationships, and what. I mean, I had so many questions, and she was fabulous, and she told me many things, and I have great compassion for anybody out in that community because that's a tough one.
It's just a testament to the type of person that you are, Linda. You're very empathetic, very compassionate. You're also very curious. You understand the human condition. You understand people and relationships and the goodness and the struggles in life. And you've taken on roles that have made incredible statements. People who are human, people who have gone through things, people who've had joy, who've had loss, who've had tragedy, who've had triumph. It's just an extraordinary thing. And you've taken these roles on in such an extraordinary way. Like you say, being in All That Glitters, that was a groundbreaking role on television too, on top of it. And to be able to take it on in such the treatment that you gave it and the respect that you gave it and everybody involved was extraordinary. And again, it's just truly a testament to who you are. And you've always taken on these roles again that have really left people thinking, questioning their own lives and feeling very, very connected to you. When you played that role in All That Glitters, did you get feedback from people? Would people write in? Did anybody then or in later years express to you how you being in that cast and playing that character really it meant so much to them?
Yes, I did. I got, some people who felt very insecure, and it made them nervous to even talk about it. And, those were the hardest ones. People that enjoyed it and they felt that there was compassion involved in the performance, they were great. They were wonderful. And so that was easier to deal with than the ones who were like making fun and doing all that. It was harder to deal with them, frankly, than it was to the people that had compassion for other people, because we've all got stories and we all have lives and we all have things that complicate our lives and layer our lives in different ways. So it's how you deal with it. We've all got, I mean, nobody came in here clear of anything. We all have, it's like, wait a minute, we're all under construction, I think, until we leave, it's like, okay.
It's so very, very true. And then comes along, amongst everything else that you've done, this iconic series, Dallas, that people still refer to today, still talk about today. Even when we had Michelle Lee on recently, she was even talking about Dallas and the strength of Dallas and even that connection with Knots Landing and Dallas as well, too. When you were given the opportunity to be a part of Dallas, this iconic role of Sue Ellen Ewing, a role that also gave you some wonderful accolades too, nominated for an Emmy Award for lead actress in a drama series, given 2 Golden Globe Awards for Best Actress as well, and so much more along the way. What was it about this role and the opportunity that came your way that really spoke to you? Was it something where they knew Linda Gray was perfect for that role, or did you have to mold Sue Ellen along the way?
Um, It's a great question. All your questions are wonderful. Thank you, Jim. It was I was blessed to get the job, and it was really given to Mary Fran. Do you remember Mary Fran? She was Bob Newhart's wife.
Oh yeah, on Newhart, and she was
Yeah.
also Days of Our Lives as well.
Yes. Yes.
Gone too soon. Yeah,
She was
yeah.
a dear friend,
Question.
and when I went into audition, um, they already had her in mind. And what happened was, I came in and there was no script. They handed me like paper, and they said, "Your husband, J.R. Ewing, is at the office," and our son, little J.R. Ewing, my little son, our son. Anyway, he was having a birthday party, and J.R. was calling me to say, "I won't be home because I have work to do at the office." Well, I don't think he had any work to do at the office. And it turned out it was right. He was doing something else, God knows what. But I had a feeling that it could be some woman. And knowing J.R. Ewing now that I, got to get into the series, it was a woman that he missed his son's birthday party to be with a woman. So that's the kind of guy he was. So I kind of figured this out already in the first audition, thinking that he's a snake and why am I married to this guy? Anyway, that sort of started the process going. And I remember thinking, but I like her. I like her feistiness, and she's not going to probably put up with this nonsense ever anymore. And no more birthday parties he misses. So anyway, that's what. Look at that. Look at that. Like, she looks. I like the way she looks.
Yeah.
Actually. Anyway, no nonsense, Jr. Anyway,
Exactly.
so I remember clearly thinking, okay, she's got to become more interesting and a little more feisty and not put up with his nonsense. So I started thinking, who is she? Who is this woman that married this not terribly attractive, wonderful guy? That not cool. So I remember I had no lines in the beginning, nothing. I said things like, "More coffee, J.R." and some other inane thing. And I thought, what am I doing here? This is not good. Um, so I remember saying, okay, I have to find out who this Texas woman is. And I set out across the freeway and I went to Neiman Marcus, very fancy clothing store. And I went to the hair salon. And I thought, I'm going to listen and watch these women that come in to get their hair done, their nails done, and see what they talk about and who they are, and watch the purses they carry, the shoes they wear, the outfits. And I set out to find out who I was playing, this wonderful Sue Ellen Ewing. And I loved her. I loved her immediately. And I thought, well, you have homework to do. So that's what I did. I started gathering bits and pieces of Sue Ellen Ewing to be able to perform interestingly the way I wanted her to be. So that's how she began. And I liked the way she ended up.
Yes, and the storylines got very intense too. You really took on some really heavy subjects in such a beautiful, beautiful way. Of course, alcoholism and other infidelity, things that happened along the way. How did you approach the scripts, and what did you pull from to be able to deliver these brilliant performances? And how much of Sue Ellen was Linda and Linda Sue Ellen, different bits and pieces that you maybe wove into the character yourself?
Well, we created her. She was created. She was this wonderful, created character, and I loved her. And I remember I said when she was really in down and out time, stress time, alcoholic and all that. I said, girlfriend, I have to take you to lunch. You need to have a little chat with me. And I remember talking to her as if she was real. And because I thought she needs guidance, needs a little help from me. And I knew she was in trouble a couple times, a lot of times. And she just needed a girlfriend, and that would be me. And so I did. She became my best friend. I loved her. I knew she was struggling and going through a hard time. So I would take her to lunch occasionally, not often. And that was
That's so
fun
cool.
for me. That was fun.
And now you're this iconic figure on a major television network on an ongoing series that lasts for a number of years. And people at that time, working in television myself too, television, the thing. People couldn't get enough of Dallas and you and JR and all of it.
Yeah.
The ranch, South Fork, the whole thing. And people would be on the edge of their seat till the following week when the next episode came. Did you have any idea that it would turn into almost a cult-like following? People would be on the edge of their seat. A beloved series that's in the annals of television and broadcast history, your role as that as well. Was there any inkling, and how did you and the others deal with all of that that was coming your way as Dallas just continued to become bigger and bigger and bigger, and probably bigger than anybody even could have predicted?
Yeah, we certainly didn't. We were just working all the time. We
Right.
had time, like, oh, it's a big show. Oh, keep going. Don't pay attention. Don't look over there because you're
Yeah.
getting too big. It's like,
Right.
oh. And we all had families. So we worked in Texas for 2 months a year. And then we were back in LA for the rest. So we didn't have time to pay attention to all the chaos that was going on around the world, which is probably best, I think, that we didn't.
Right, because it would be distracting to follow everything that's in all the magazines and just all of the attention, but the attention fierce. And of course, the Who Shot J.R. storyline was really, you must have had even family nudging you. Tell me,
Oh, I
come
did.
on, tell me, Linda, who did it? Who did it?
Who did it? Jim, you know better. You know better than that.
Right,
But I remember
exactly.
being in New York who was it? David David Hartman.
Good Morning America.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Good Morning America. And I remember they had flown me in to New York to do the David Hartman show. And so, of course, I did it. I was happy, and I'm happy to meet him, etc. So, of course, he asked the question. And I said to him, unfortunately, I said, one of my children guessed who it was. I just said that like, you know, it came out of my mouth. And then I thought, when I got off the air, I thought, oh my God, what have I just done? Biggest held secret in the world. And I've just revealed that one of my children, there were two, one of my children guessed it correctly. So I ran home, or the telephone booth, or whatever we used back then, no cell phones. I called my family and I said, there's going to be somebody calling, and do not say one word about your choice for Who Shot J.R. Not a word out of your mouth, please. And I'll be home tomorrow. And so they were all like, why? What's it? What? All that, like kids do. Like, what do you mean? What are you talking about? And no, who is it? Anyway, I was shocked at myself for even saying that, but it just kind of came out. So, it was pretty traumatic because we had gone much longer during our summer hiatus than normal. And I remember being in the grocery store with my kids and pushing the market cart, and people would stop me. Oh, who shot JR? And I thought, oh my God, I'm going to go mental in the grocery store. I'm going to be so crazy. And
Linda Gray, the talk of the produce section.
yeah, that's it. I was like around the celery going, oh my God, I gotta get out of here. Anyway,
That's it.
they were, everybody wanted to know, of course. And so we all couldn't wait until that was revealed.
Until it actually aired,
Like,
right?
oh my God, can we please say this? Yeah, get this done with so we can move on.
So you can move on. Of course, everybody, the beloved Larry Hagman, who you got to work with so intimately on the series, and a dear friend,
Yes.
everybody knowing him from many other things. Of course, his mom, the iconic Mary Martin. He was, of course, Major Anthony Nelson, working with Barbara Eden and company on I Dream of Jeannie, and then now this wonderful opportunity to be a part of Dallas with all of you. What was it like when you first met Larry, and what was it like working with him? It must have been a real hoot. I heard that there were some funny pranks and different things that went on. Christopher Atkins was a guest on the show
Yeah.
a month or so ago.
Oh, I'm really.
And yeah, and he talked about a lot of the fun that happened on the set of Dallas. That's
Oh,
yeah.
there was a lot of that, a lot of fun happening. Yeah. Um, but I remember the first time I met Larry in a room, a small room in Burbank, California, at the Warner Brothers studio. And I remember we were all brand new. Charlene was there. She was 18 years old, this tall, and everybody, Larry, Patrick, Steve, Ken Kercheval, Victoria, we were all there. And I remember walking in, and I made eye contact with Larry. And he had saddlebags over his shoulder, carved, beautiful saddlebags from like you put on a horse. And they were filled with ice and bottles of champagne. And I thought, ooh, okay. I just kind of didn't stare at them. I thought this could be trouble. Don't know. I was right. Anyway, so I looked at Larry's eyes, and I remember I had a little crush on him from I Dream of Jeannie. He was Major Nelson.
Major Nelson.
It was like, ooh,
Master. Yeah.
This.
He was master and I'm masters.
Yes. Yes, you got it. And I remember looking at him going, oh dear, it's Major Nelson. And then I looked at Patrick and I thought, oh no, this is the men from Atlantis with the webbed hands. And I thought, what kind of show am I doing? And then Jim Davis was there, and he was like that magical, very handsome, tall man from, like, I don't know what he was on. Not Rawhide, but one of those famous, iconic shows. And he was like with that great voice, he was amazing. And then I got to Barbara. This was just eye contact or going around the room. And I thought, uh-oh, this is serious. This is Barbara Bel Geddes from Broadway. She's a talented actor. And what is she doing in this room with these crazy people? And what am I doing here? I don't know. And so it was this quick glance around the room, making sense out of who they were and what they were doing there. And what was I doing there? I had no idea. And I just thought, well, this is an odd group of people that are going to be doing something. I have no idea, and I can't wait. So it was one of those incremental moments where I was enthralled. I was in this fabulous room with great, talented, creative people, and I was thrilled to be a part of it. And that was my introduction day to the cast of Dallas.
What was it like on set? What were the shooting days like? And like you said, 2 months at the actual South Fork Ranch, and then going back to LA and to Hollywood to do the rest. What was that experience like? And you've had opportunities to actually go and visit the ranch post Dallas as well, right?
Yes. I mean, I love the ranch, and it's just this iconic place now that, has always been. But it was this kind of a solidifying place that we all called home. And the Duncans owned the original ranch. And we would always go in. People just assumed we lived there and we slept there, and wrong. No. We went in the kitchen area, and we couldn't go past that. And we would all sit around the little kitchen table. We could not go in past the other areas. So we would all hang out there in the kitchen and talk to the Duncans, the owners. And I mean, this was our home away from home. Hysterical. I mean, the funniest stories happened in that kitchen, and we all bonded, and it couldn't have been a better beginning, honestly.
It really is a beautiful place, and it's become an iconic, landmark
Yes.
property.
Yeah.
Working with all of the cast, like I mentioned, we had Patrick Duffy, who was so wonderful, and the wonderful relationship with Patrick and Linda Pearl is so fantastic, and all that sourdough bread they're making now together. Charlene Tilton was with us on the show as well.
Oh, nice.
It becomes like a family, right? When you're
Oh,
working with people that long, that many years on a show like Dallas or any kind of show where there's longevity, it does become like a family, doesn't it?
it was. Absolutely, it was. And it was a great dysfunctional family. It was. It was. And we laughed a lot and we cried a lot and we worked together and we had long hours and, there was respect. And it couldn't have been better, honestly. It just was uh, such a special way to spend your days and weeks and years together.
Do you have an episode or two that are your personal favorites? Maybe even one or two that people wouldn't necessarily think about, but for you, they're your favorites.
They were because during the time, there was a time where our producer left, Patrick left, people were going and coming. It was a bit disorganized. And so I remember the new producer, he was only there for a year. And he said to me, I had said to him, I want to stop drinking on the show. I'm tired of it. I said, all I do is have a drink and have an affair with somebody. And I said, I'd like to stop that. And he said, let me think about it. So he came to me the next day and he said, how about this? He said, we're going to take you down. And I said, you're going to take me down? And he said, yeah, down. You're going down. And I thought, oh, I don't know what this all means, but why not? Let's do it. I've done everything else in the show. So let's go down. And so he just took me down, and I don't think Leonard liked it, our castman, our producer, when he came back. I don't think he liked any of it, but I did because I got to act and I got to do something different than, more coffee J.R. I got to act, and I was excited to do that. And so they took me down, and I remember Lou Diamond Phillips was one of the guys on the street. I walked Dallas, and he stole my ring and my big diamond ring, and I mean, it was really chaotic. And they just were like, I just said, keep going, I'm doing fine. And then I ended up drinking out of a paper bag in Alice's bag, and that was pretty down. But I loved her. I loved the scene. I thought this is what she would do if indeed she was this alcoholic that had just hit rock bottom.
When they were taking you down, you were extraordinarily brilliant and really shining, and you were pulling upon the depths of your own soul, and whatever you could pull from deep in you was resonating and rising to the top and coming out through that character. And I think it really impacted a lot of people watching, people going through similar things in their life,
Mm-hmm.
but it impacted you and left you in an incredible way as well, right? You were phenomenal when they did that.
Oof, thank you. Yeah, I just kind of flashed back quickly to
Yeah.
remembering, filming that. That was.
How do you? How does one go that deep, dark and deep, and not let it affect you when the lights are off and when you're not Sue Ellen at home or what have you? because you're really pulling from the depths of whatever is in there, the heart and soul. How do you work through that? How do you deal with it? And how do you not lose sense of self and emotion yourself when you're playing it at that level as you did?
That's, again, another great question, because it is a deep one. And every actor, I'm sure if you asked any actor who had gone through this, similar things, would have a different answer. Mine was just go there. Just inhabit that character you're playing and be there. Be there with the bag lady. Be there with the trauma of what you're going through. You're in the alley with this lady. You're drinking. This is not pretty. And let it go. Let it happen. Let it come through. And so for me, I just gave it permission. I gave the feelings permission. I gave the experience permission. It's like, let's go. You are at the end of your ropes. You're in an alley. You're drinking from a bag of, with the bourbon or whatever it was inside. And let it go. Let life take over, Linda. Get out of the way. And that was my feeling, like, get out of the way and let the magic happen. And that was the closest I could get to actually communicating what was happening, because I didn't know how to verbalize it. It was like, I just felt I had to get out of the way and let Sue Ellen Ewing express herself in a very creative way. And I felt that was the way I did it, and the way people hopefully reacted to it. And that was my hit on it. That was it.
It was incredible. It was absolutely incredible. And then you had an opportunity, you brought up the idea of wanting to direct an episode of Dallas and make that directorial debut. Tell us about that. At first, they weren't as responsive as we all would think they would be to you coming in and maybe directing an episode or two, right?
No, it wasn't applauded. They didn't want anything to do with that. It was like, you have a role, you're doing it well, you're an actor, end of story. But then when I wanted to get out of the box, I wanted to do something else, because I was getting bored. All I was doing was drinking and having an affair. And then drinking next season and with somebody else and having another affair with him. It was like, oh my God, to me, I thought, if an actor's bored with your role, you have to do something. And I knew they wanted to keep me there, keep me happy as Mrs. J.R. Ewing, and not do anything other than drink and have an affair. So that was boring to me. So I was like, okay, let me see. So I called my friend Lillian Chauvin. She's passed now, but I said, Lillian, I want to direct. And there was kind of an eye roll, like, oh God. Anyway, I pushed her. I said, I really want to direct. And if you don't think I'm capable, tell me now, so I don't waste your time or my time. Anyway, she said, well, let's do this. Let's see how you can do. And so I started studying with her every Saturday until she felt I was ready. She was tough. French, very much a perfectionist, and she was a taskmaster. I had homework, and I had to do this and that and all this. I had to find out what all the camera angles were, what's a close-up, what's a full shot. What I had to do, all these things, learn it all in a very short time. There was no college degree at that time for me, so I didn't have time to go to college. And so, anyway, that's what happened. It was, I was just kind of tiptoeing through, thinking, I really want to do this, because I was getting bored with Sue Ellen Ewing. Anyway, so I studied, and they were not encouraging me. So Leonard said to me, if you want to direct, then all the other women on the staff of the show, they all want to direct, and you'll start a big mess. And I said, okay, let me ask them. And I did. I went first to Barbara out of respect. So I went to Barbara and I said, Barbara, would you like to direct one of the shows? The answer was, hell no. That feisty little gorgeous being from Connecticut. She didn't want any part of it. So I went down the list of women and I asked Charlene and Victoria and Susan Howard. Nope, nobody wanted to direct. So I trotted back, feisty little self. I went to the producers and I said, nope, I asked them all and they didn't want to. So I said, so I guess you're stuck with me. And I think I started a war there. So it came time for negotiations. It was year 8, I think. And it was time for all the actors to negotiate their salary. And so I said, I don't want any more money. I'm fine. And anyway, the bottom line of the negotiations was they were going to give me 1 episode to direct in the next 52. I thought, well, that's not very kind of you, very selfish of you. Anyway, so I said, okay, I got 1. And but then they didn't want to pay me any more money. It was fine. I was like, give me 1 and stop all this stuff. Anyway, so that's what happened. I got 1. And so, little feisty me, when I finished, the script, that's important. The script came, my first script came, I opened it up, and the first page was a murder scene on the island of Martinique. And there were gurneys and dead people and things happening, people in costume. And I thought, oh my God, this is not the normal Dallas. 2 people in an office, a restaurant, a bed, but this was like a show on Martinique with all these people in costume and dead people. I was like, oh my God, they really threw the book at me. It's like, you want to direct? Well, watch this. And so that was it. And I thought, oh dear, well, you want to direct, you have to bite the bullet. This is what they want you to do. So I did it. I felt I did it really well, and my coach was very happy. So what happened was, after that, and it was getting time to air it and all that, I went to all the shows, the talk shows, and I said to all the guys like you, could I please come on your show? I have a script that I directed. I'd really like to show it to you. And I thought,
well, if this show was on then, we would have had you here right away.
you are the best. You are the best. Thank you. Anyway, so they all said yes. It was Gary Collins and
yeah.
So sweet to me. And they said, of course we'll do it. We'll show your episode. So what happened was our ratings went through the roof because somebody had kind of promoted it. And so I told the audience, I said, you've got to watch this. I had the best time, and I worked with all the actors, and I had this great thing, and I got to direct, and whoa, I went on. And so all the ratings were crazy through the roof. And then they gave me 5 more out because of all that chaos I caused.
It's incredible, right?
Yeah, so I was thrilled. I thought, don't give up. Don't give up. You want to do something, you study hard, you make it important for you, and look what happened. So,
and you took on a whole other challenge. You broadened your own horizons by directing these episodes. Was it something that the bug, back when we talked about the commercials, when you were, a kid coming up the ranks, the bug bit you then to want to do it? Did the idea of directing then also become something attractive to you, Linda?
No, I was kind of like one thing at a time. Like, wait a minute, don't get y'all crazy.
This was exhausting. This was a lot of work.
Yeah, so I kind of took bites out of it, little bites at a time. So,
What a great thing to accomplish, such a beautiful, beautiful thing. And the response, like you said, high ratings and so much more. When Christopher Atkins was on the show, he talked about, of course, Dallas, and he had so many wonderful, kind things to say about you and your professionalism and how you welcomed him and how nice you were and
oh,
everybody on the set was. And he coming off, or was it before the Blue Lagoon and all of that? But there was something he said which was very funny, going back to the pranks that happened on the set of Dallas and all of these wonderful smiley faces that sometimes pulled different pranks. He said, Jim, I'm going to tell you a story. And this was so groundbreaking in Christopher Atkins' life to, of course, have a kiss on set on Dallas with the iconic Linda Gray. And what he said was, he
oh,
said, Linda, as phenomenal as she is as an actress, how professional she is and diligent she is, she's a big prankster. And I said, well, what did you mean, Chris? He said, because when we came in on either the kiss or one of the kisses, all of a sudden after the kiss, my lips started to go numb. And I said, how did that happen? Well, of course, I think any guy that was about to kiss Linda Gray, their lips would go numb naturally. He said, yes, that makes sense. But it wasn't just that. She did something with her lipstick that she had on that when I went in and kissed her, my lips went numb.
yeah.
So now that Linda, we believe in equal time at the Jim Masters show. Is
Oh,
Linda Gray guilty as charged? Or what's the Linda Gray story about the Christopher Atkins Linda Gray kiss on Dallas?
well,
And how cool that was. What a smart idea.
yeah, it was planned. I didn't plan it, of course not.
Of course not.
Um, I don't know. I think Larry planned it, but he wasn't there. He just sort of came and planted it in my head. And of course, I didn't say, oh no, I could never do that. I kind of went right along with it, of course. And oh dear, seeing that scene, it's like I remember it so clearly. Anyway, it was numbing cream from like the dentist. And you know how it happens when you go to the dentist. So I put it on before the kiss, and we kissed, and I was sworn I could not say anything to poor Chris. I love Chris still to this day. I just don't know why he even speaks to me, but anyway, he was adorable and still is. So yeah, I put it on and numbed with the kiss. I numbed his face, his little lips. And I'm sorry, Chris. I'm sorry, but we
Oh,
all, yeah,
he didn't say that it was a problem at all. He just said it was a very memorable kiss, and he didn't know what was happening to him.
I know, I
and then
know. He
and that
wasn't
might have been one
supposed
of the
to.
Larry Hagman
Yeah,
boy,
I think it was Larry put the idea in my head.
the
And of course,
kiss.
instead of saying, oh, I couldn't do that, couldn't
Of
possibly
course,
do that,
you're right.
I was
Christopher
like,
Atkins, never forgetting the kiss of Linda Gray on Dallas.
we're
Then, of course, yeah. Oh,
pranks. Yeah.
yeah. So your lips didn't go numb. His did.
Yeah, and I had a little bit, but I took mine
You
right off.
got it right.
Yeah.
she was
Left
smart.
him kind of
He's like,
standing there.
whoom, whoom,
What?
whoom, whoom. And then the series, of course, comes to an end. And was that shocking? Was that expected? Was that, because you have this family and you're on for so many years and different people, like you said, leave and come in and out. What was that experience like?
None of us liked it. None of us liked it ending like that. It was the way it ended that disturbed us because it didn't honor it with great respect. And I thought that the new producers were TNT, and I think that this is my opinion, but I think they didn't honor it in a lovely way, because we had fans all around the world, and they would, hang in every word we said. Not that that was it, but there were plot lines, and so many people involved, and they did a beautiful job of making everybody, you know, be part of everything. And then when they just stopped it like that, it was, to me, the word I used was disrespectful. We've been on the air for so many years, and to end it like that was not good. But I had nothing to do with it. So
Had nothing to do with it. And then, of course, years later, there is the reunion, and it comes back on TNT, and which was absolutely amazing. TNT, part of the whole Ted Turner conglomerate. We just lost Ted recently. And what was that like with everybody coming back for at least the amount of time you could? Of course, I know Larry had passed along the way, but still the fanfare for the resurgence was extraordinary.
it was it was so much fun, and I remember them calling me. I think Patrick, Larry, and I were driving around LA in our cars, as you do, and
Yeah.
we got these phone calls, and they said, "Would you like to do it again?" We were like, "What?" And it had been 20 years off the air, 20 years, and so we all kind of jumped at it, going, "Do you want to do it? Would you want to come back? What do you think? What do you think?" So we had a little three-way quick conversation, and we called them and said, "Yep, let's do it." And we all got excited because we were like, we get to work together again. What a blessing. That's what it was. It was this fabulous blessing that we had.
Did it feel like picking up where you left off in a way?
Kind of, sort of, but there was 20 years. So I told them that I didn't want to come back as I was before. I said, no drinking, blah, blah, blah. And I even suggested that she run for governor. She's Sue Ellen Ewing. I said, let her run for office, because she knows so many secrets that J.R. Ewing has hidden. And I'd like to, I would like to play the governor. And so, I think Larry came back as himself, and so did Patrick. And I didn't want to come back as Sue Ellen. I didn't want to be a victim, and I didn't want to do all that stuff. So I told them that's how I felt. And they honored it. They were lovely. And so it was absolutely wonderful to come back and have our friendship kind of rekindled. It was wonderful.
And you could see the love and affection that you and Larry had for one another, even in that series as well. And you all had some loving words about him upon his passing, and each of the folks who passed with as the time went on within the series, but just the wonderful tributes that you had, and pouring your hearts out about Larry was really beautiful, Linda.
Well, he was wonderful. He was the Pied Piper. He was our little leader and the troublemaker. And he made all the things magic. He really did. And he did. He brought us all together. And he was my best friend for, like, I don't know, 37 years.
Yeah, I could see that. Really a fantastic guy, and to have two, hit series. People still, I Dream of Jeannie,
Yes.
Beloved, and look at Barbara Eden. Also talk about resilience. Still going out, still going to
Yes.
fan fests and all kinds of things.
Yes,
She's
she's
amazing
great.
too.
She
Yeah.
is. So,
You
to be surrounded by those kinds of people, it has enhanced my life hugely. Yeah.
You also had the lead in Models Inc. on Fox, and working with a lot of incredible people there as well. had this come along, and then this was really a terrific role to have as well, right? Matter of fact, we one of our viewers sent in a question, and I told them I would be happy to read a question or two. S. Tupper said, "Love Dallas, of course, but I would be very interested in hearing about Linda's experience heading the Melrose Place spinoff, Models Inc. Was it a good experience? What was it like working with that, the young cast and Aaron Spelling as well?" And also he had asked, he'd love to hear about the time working with um, Lindsay Wagner on the TV movie The Two Worlds of Jenny Logan.
Okay, and more good questions. I love it. I love
Yeah, and that's from the viewers, the fans.
That's excellent. Well, first of all, I'll go back to Lindsay Wagner. Lindsay Wagner is my niece. Yep.
Right. Yes. And when you call her for coffee, tell her we would love to have her on the show. We've been one degree of separation, and I know she just did the whole Bionic Woman 60th, but boy, would we love to welcome her to the show.
Okay, I will extend the invitation with love. Yep. And yeah, she's
amazing too, huh?
Yep, amazing. And worked her behind off. See, with Dallas, we had a lot of people to share the dialogue and the hours. And, it wasn't just us by ourselves doing everything. So, but when Lindsay did Bionic Woman, that was her. She did everything. She wasn't this or that. She was the Bionic Woman, as Lee Majors was. And so, I mean, I can't even imagine the hours that she spent in front of the camera. Unbelievable. And she's a lovely human being, and I adore her. And so then when she started doing the Two Worlds of Jenny Logan, she and her mother, who was my sister-in-law, called me and said, "Would you like to be in this movie?" And I was still young, and I thought, should I do it? But it'd be fun to work with Lindsay, blah, blah, blah. So anyway, I did it, and I loved it. And I was, I played the murderer on my deathbed. I confessed, and I mean that was kind of new and fun. I was like, wait a minute. But the most fun I had on that was working with Stan. What's his name? Anyway, I'll get it in a minute. But he was the makeup star of all. And I had to age from my age, it was like 28 to 30, something like that, to like 104. And Stan Winston. Thank you, Stan. Okay, Stan Winston. So I remember he said, well, we're going to have to age you. And I thought it was going to be makeup, but it wasn't. It was a mask, but it had to be put on my face, hardened, taken off, and I worked. So it had to be one day, everything complete, finished shooting, blah, blah, blah. So anyway, I got there early in the morning, and my husband came with me, and I sat in the chair, and it was like a barber's chair with the arms out here. And so he started putting in the clay, like you put a cast on your leg, putting the clay on, chest, the whole thing, and then up, and then he got into my ears, and I thought, I can't hear anything. Well, it's going to be sensory deprivation. And I thought, oh my God, will I survive this? And it was like 5 a.m. And so anyway, the mask went in my ears, couldn't hear anything. And then they did the eyes, and I couldn't see anything. So I was terrified. And so they did the whole thing, and then they clamped my arms, my hands, wrists onto the chair, so I couldn't move. That was terrifying. The whole thing was just, I was like, oh my God, how did I get into this? I'm an actor. What am I doing in the cast? What am I doing here? And so anyway, long story short, I was finally released, and they took the mask off, and they were happy with it. And I went, but my face was not attractive. It was kind of raw. And so I threw on a lot of moisturizer and went to the set. We drove from there, from Stan's studio to the set, and got ready to shoot the scenes that where I was in the bed on my deathbed and I confessed to a murder. And I thought, well, okay, so you have to bring out some more tools from your tool chest. So how am I going to do this? And so it was so much fun to work with Lindsay and to be part of her film. And I love the process. And we never worked together again. That was 1977.
That's amazing, really amazing. And
Great fun, and it was a great
yeah,
part. She
two
was great.
powerhouse talents together, unbelievable. And he'd also asked, did you enjoy the experience working with Aaron Spelling and Company
Oh,
on leading Models Inc.?
he was the best. I loved working with Aaron. I did, and
Yeah,
and all the other girls from mainly
yeah.
from Australia. Yeah,
That was a
yeah.
great series, sort of like
Was it?
yeah, from the producers of Melrose Place.
Yes.
Uh, yeah,
It was
and
great fun.
you also you've been in a lot of wonderful movies, television movies too, and one that stands out, which I know sort of has a personal connection, Reflections of a Life, and this was really beautiful. And you were supporting a friend who was going through cancer at the time as well, and it was around '89. I know when you had lost your sister as well. This was such a beautiful story. Tell us about this and that connection that you had with it.
Well, I mean, like we said with the book, I mean, you can relate on so many levels, and you step up as a friend when somebody is suffering from a disease. Uh, you just step up, and you become not the caregiver, but a caregiver of their soul. Maybe I don't know how to express it, but um, you just are there for them, and it was a tough one going through all that. Um, it always is to be the one on the outside where you give your best that you can, most supporting um, time that you can do. You're just there for those people that are going through hard times.
Absolutely right. You were also working with Sylvester Stallone, which was something special. Back in 1991, Oscar.
Yeah, loved it. I loved it.
Oh boy, this was quite a character, and this was quite a role. And what was it like working with everybody on this one? And again, another one where you just knocked it out of the park, Linda.
Oh, thank you very much. I begged to do that part. Yeah, look at that.
It's beautiful, isn't it?
I wanted to be somebody other than Sue Ellen Ewing, and so I remember meeting John Landis, and I I remember I begged him. I said, "I'm begging you for this role," and he just looked at me like, "Oh, that I was a nutcase," and I thought, no, I want this role. And he looked at me, he said, why do you want this role? I said, because she's charming and lovely, but she's so different than Sue Ellen Ewing. And I'd played her since 1977. This is 1991. Many long years with Sue Ellen Ewing. I want to be somebody else. And he was wonderful. He wasn't so excited. He didn't jump up and down and said, "Oh my God, we can't wait to have you." No, no, no. He was like, "Oh, I don't know." And so I literally begged him. I said, "I'm begging you. I want that part." And it was a tiny part at the very end of the film. And but I talked to all the guys that were those fabulous character actors on the Oscar, and it was the first time I'd ever seen or met Marissa Tomei, who was extraordinary, still is. And so, that was a gift. I thought, oh my God, I get to do all this stuff. And I finally convinced him, and he let me do it. Thank God. Thank you. And so I got to work with Stallone, and he was so charming and lovely. And it was a wonderful experience. All my things have been wonderful experiences.
And then recently, which we promoted on our show as well, you had a wonderful opportunity to work with some of your phenomenal colleagues, some of the divas of the '80s. Which this was really terrific. A Divas Christmas Ladies of the '80s and there is of course Linda right there next to Morgan Fairchild, who we just had on a couple of weeks ago, Donna Mills, Nicolette Sheridan, and of course Lonnie Anderson. And what was it like all coming together for that movie? That was terrific, and it was nice to see everybody, and it was just like old home week in a way, huh?
It was. It really was. And so much fun. I mean, we really had a great time. And of course, who wouldn't? You know, we all were friends and we had not worked together before. That was the odd scenario. Like we knew each other off camera, but we'd never done a show together. So here we were, all brand new kids going to school for the first day and meeting our friends. And it was absolutely lovely, so much fun, and so much respect on off camera. And on camera, but we were just all there together having a great kind of a girl fest. It was wonderful.
A lot of fun. We got a chance to see it too, and a lot of hilarious moments as well. And you could see the affection and respect
Yeah.
for one another, as well as each individual have their own respective careers. And of course, Lonnie Anderson. And what was it like working with Lonnie, of course, who we also lost way too soon.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, there's a lot of sadness in our industry, and to work with Lonnie was extraordinary. I loved her anyway. She's one to be loved. She was absolutely wonderful, and her husband was there with her while we were filming all the time, and so we hung out with him, and so that was the sadness, was losing her. So.
If you had another opportunity for a series, if they knocked on your door and said, we have another idea about a part for you, is that something that you would entertain, or are you enjoying some downtime and, you know, going in the swimming pool, working in the yard, gardening, and you've worked hard. You've earned every bit of it. You've worked very, very hard.
I have worked hard. I have
You've
worked hard,
worked
but
very hard.
I loved every moment, honestly. Uh, that's just telling you, because I haven't met you before, but this is brand new for me, and the interview's been lovely. Uh, but that's how I feel. If there was something extraordinary that I would love to do, I would do it. I would do it. I'd have to maybe not work as hard as I did before, um, because I live in Palm Springs and it's a different time in my life. It's it's a more relaxed life, and I've enjoyed my family more and I have two grandsons, and so I hang out with them, and we have a wonderful time. So I've been blessed to have a beautiful life. I really have. So I honor that, and I do respect it, and yeah, and I'm thankful for the life I've had. So that's it.
Family is everything. What would the Linda Gray of today say to that young girl with the wide eyes and the curiosity and getting ready to embark on commercials? What would you say to her now?
Ooh, great one. I would say to her, sweetheart, I love you, and follow your heart. Do whatever it is that makes you happy without hurting anybody else, and follow your dreams. You don't have to follow anybody else's dreams, just your own. And don't hurt anybody, smile a lot, be happy with your life, and love yourself, love others in your life that you respect and love. keep that attitude and keep the joy in your heart, and just move on with grace and style and wisdom, and don't let anyone tell you any different. Just live your beautiful life and live it to the fullest.
And you've done exactly everything that you would have told the younger version of yourself, and to a T, navigating life in such an extraordinary way while entertaining and inspiring all of us along the way as well. Absolutely beautiful. There was one last question that Kathleen Walker in New York had as far as Sue Ellen. I figured, promised to get it in for. She says, loved Linda in Dallas. My question for Linda is, are you happy with how the character of Sue Ellen developed over the years? And is there something that you wanted to see happen for Sue Ellen? I know one of the things you referenced earlier is you wanted her to not just be involved with men and drinking, and you wanted her to evolve. And we thank Kathleen Walker in New York City, another fabulous fan and viewer, for that question.
Woo! But that's another question. You guys are filled with questions, good ones. And where I would like to see, I brought up when we began the second series, I brought up the fact I wanted her to run for governor. And I liked it because I felt that she had paid her dues. She had been through all the struggles, all the good parts, the bad parts. She knew every tricky little thing that J.R. Ewing had in his back pocket. And because she was married to him, she knew all the people involved, all the politicians, all the people. And she was going to use it if need be. So I thought she'd make a great politician. And so they allowed me to do it. And then they said, okay, now we can't have you run anymore for governor. You have to lose. I was like, what? What do you mean I have to lose? Well, the governorship was in Austin, Texas, and we were doing a series called Dallas. So they didn't want to have to fly me back and forth all the time doing Austin. And anyway, I don't know, maybe it was just an excuse to dissuade me from running for governor. I don't know. Anyway, I had fun trying, and that was it. But at least they let me play in politics for 5 minutes. And that was fine. I was happy.
That's it. We could probably use you now too. So if you rethink,
boy, we need something.
You're exactly right. So well titled, again, that book, folks, which is available at Amazon. The Road to Happiness is Always Under Construction, with the incomparable Linda Gray. What a stunning shot too on the cover. When was that taken? You always take beautiful photos as you numb the lips on a kiss.
You have to.
You have to. You've got to leave them thinking. But that is a beautiful, beautiful shot, Linda.
Thank you. I had nothing to do with it. I remember that I wanted it very casual, like who I am. I didn't want to fancy. I didn't want a fur coat and all that. And then I said, you can't use fur. You have to use faux fur. Right. And they were like, I'm sure they were rolling their eyes like, oh, God, here she wants faux fur and blah, blah, blah. I'm sure. It doesn't matter. Anyway, I got the faux fur. But I wanted a casual outfit. I wanted maybe jeans and a T-shirt or something, because I thought, that's who I am. I'm not Sue Ellen. But the publishers were like, you're going to be Sue Ellen. We want to sell books. We don't want to sell books with a T-shirt and blue jeans. I got it. So I acquiesced, lovingly so. And so I was happy with that.
It came out beautiful, and I encourage folks to get the book. Anything you haven't done yet that's still on that bucket list for you, Linda? Something you'd like to do?
Probably a lot. I have a list, but it's kind of quiet right now. It's kind of in pencil right now, but I think I'll move it to ink soon.
She's going to be moving it to ink, and we're going to have her back when it is in ink.
Yes.
We keep the porch light on for all of our guests, and you are welcome back. I'd be remiss if I did not mention that leg in that shot in The Graduate with Dustin Hoffman is Linda Gray's leg.
Yeah.
So throughout your entire life and your entire career, you've always had a leg up. And if you
Oh,
didn't have one, you've created it, right?
that's very good. I like it. Good, Jim. Good.
The
Oh,
pleasure is all mine, Ms. Gray.
thank you.
Really, this was a spectacular, I call these not interviews, but conversations. I've always admired your work and have great respect for you. You're just not only a class act, but you're a beautiful person inside and out, and you
Thank you.
shine, and people connect with you, not only because you're a talented actress, but you put so much of who you are and so much humanity into all of the roles you've taken on. And you've been able to take lemons sometimes and turn them into lemonade and make us think and smile. And I wish you nothing but continued love and blessings in your life. And the porch light is on for you to come back on the Jim Master Show. I hope you'll stop by again and you'll
I would love
spread the
to.
word about our show and say hi to Lindsay.
I
And
will.
I really hope you enjoyed the time with me as much as I have with you.
Oh, I really did. I so appreciate you and your great questions and I mean, so lovely. And I just felt very welcome on your show. And thank you very much.
The pleasure is all mine. You be well, Linda. Thanks for the generosity of time. You're a real delight. I wish you
Thank
well always. And go take a dip in that pool. I'm sure it's
Yeah, I
hot there in Palm
will.
Springs. Yeah.
Yeah, you're back with, thunder and lightning.
Thunder and lightning here, and she's going to take a dip. Be well. Come see us again. Really, I would love to chat more. And you're a
Thank
blessing. And thanks for all the time. You be well. And thanks for stopping by the show, Linda.
It's
Okay.
really my pleasure. I thank you so much.
Thank you. You be well.
You
Bye
be
bye.
well too. Thank you, Jim.
You're welcome. The incomparable Linda Gray for joining us here on the show. She was amazing. You're amazing too. Keep the light on for you. Come join us again on the next episode. Jim Masters saying, take care, be well, and cheers.